Medford, Oregon. And that's the way to start.
That's the way to start. Now, Marshall's television record leaves a lot to be desired.
It does.
He's only averaged 204 on television. Over a number of years, his TV record is 56 wins and 73 losses, so you can see he hasn't done extremely well. Now, here's a guy that's done outstandingly well on television, Jay. As you mentioned, he bowled a 300 game to win his first championship in the championship round, a 300 game.
A bow start with strikes. A perfect game worth 100,000, of course, and coming up in a couple of weeks in Indianapolis, True Value will put up 200,000.
I don't know how you can throw the ball for 100,000 when you need one strike. It's hard to imagine. A thing that we should notice here is Bob Benoit. Now, the lane condition here, the reason I say it's difficult is the lanes are hooking a lot. And that makes it tough. If you set the ball just a little bit short, the ball is going to really hook on the back end. And that's why you're going to leave some really tough spares today.
So Benoit opens with a double. We're talking about the lanes, Earl, a new style of preparation for the lanes on tour now.
Yes, they've changed the pattern of dressing on the lanes. Instead of using a machine to dress the lanes, now they're using a spray gun. And by that, I mean they'll start at the foul line, walk backwards down the lane to a point where they feel they have enough oil by using a spray gun and letting the oil drift onto the lane in a vapor. And that leaves fresh or liquid oil on the lane, and the lanes change very quickly.
Now, these two are starting off in fine fashion. Holman told me he likes the new lane conditioning, the spray gun. It gives him more options.
Now, as you watch Marshall Holman, a repeat of that last shot, look at the leverage, look at the rotation on that ball, and the reason he's hitting it so hard is he has to get it down the lane. And if the ball's rotating, the more he can make it rotate, the farther it'll skid before it grips the lane. Again, it's very key that you don't set the ball short. Now watch Marshall. He'll get the ball out over the foul line, loft it out over the foul line to get the ball down the lane.
Gotta hurry.
All right, an easy spare for Marshall. It's someone with his talent, the 2-7, especially on a hooking lane condition, should be an easy spare for him. He'll hook the ball cross lane into the 2-pin, try to get the ball to take both pins. Here you see the ball, he got it way too wide. It didn't quite get back. If you get the ball too wide on this lane condition, even though the lanes are hooking, there is an area of the lane out there where there's a little bit excess oil, and the ball tends to hang out there, not quite make the turn back to the pocket. Now we'll watch Marshall as he adjusts himself on the approach. The 2-7, he's going to try to get both pins with the ball. Trouble. All right, good shot, great shot.
He enjoyed it, I'll tell you that.
Well, he was guessing. You can see by the look on his face, he had no idea what the ball was going to do. He didn't practice, obviously, any spares on the left side before the telecast, and that was just a good guess, and that's why he's looking like that. He made a great shot. Bob Benoit, the player that shot the 300 game to win his first title. He's using
34 years old, Earl, out of Topeka, Kansas.
Yeah, and a key right here, and something for you people at home to think about. Here's a guy using a 15-pound bowling ball. He says a 16-pound ball hits too hard for him.
And he leaves a 10-pin.
All right, again, the lanes are hooking, really hooking a lot. And you can see he's playing way inside, arcing the ball clear out near the channel. A lot of side rotation. See the ball come in behind the head pin. This is why he left the 10-pin. The 6-pin lays in the channel. The ball just doesn't hit hard enough from that angle to kick that 10 out. Tough spare, cross lane. He's going to use it. Watch him now. Watch, he'll cut the hook down, go very straight at the 10-pin. Good shot.
Benoit has had somewhat of a rebirth. He's been a PBA member for 8 years, and this is his finest year ever.
When he first came on the tour, I saw Bob Benoit bowl. The first couple of years he bowled on the tour, he was a straight player. In other words, he didn't hook the ball very much, and he used a 16-pound ball, went very directly to the pins. He found out that the guys that were making money were hooking the ball a lot. He went home and practiced for 3 years, came back, and he's been very successful.
Won over 165,000 this year, has a 1-pin lead. He comes up a little short.
All right, this pin's going to be way off spot now. It just actually made the spare even easier. The ball was real light. Marshall Holman did the same thing on that lane. And watch the ball. You can see it's way out near the channel. It's trying to get back, doesn't quite get there. Watch the head pin come off the wall, push the see that? See how it pushed the 4-pin over into the 5 and actually stood up right behind it. So he's got the 2-4, an easy spare for Bob. He'll go fairly straight at this. Tremendous concentration.
So Holman and Benoit going very well, and we'll be back with more right after these strikes. Early picked up 2 very good spares in the 3rd and 4th frames.
2 very tough spares, Jay. When he left that little split, the 2-7, and obviously, as I mentioned, he didn't practice those shots. Picked up, he just made a good guess. Then he left the 3-6-10, another very difficult spare when you consider the lane condition is hooking so much. To keep him in the match, he's on a strike in the 5th, Bob Benoit on a spare in the 4th now. Bob Benoit leading by 2 pins at this point.
And a strike on 34. Let's go back and look at that 3-6-10 spare in the 4th for Holman.
And you can see by the look on his face, Marshall doesn't really want to shoot this kind of a spare. Watch the ball. He's way out near the channel. Comes back. You can see the rotation. That's a tremendous rotation he puts with his wrist on the ball. What a competitor, Marshall Holman.
Average 225.5 on the TV pair this week. There's the scoreboard. Benoit up by 2. Benoit's 4th championship round appearance this year.
If you're going to beat Marshall Holman, you've got to apply the pressure. If you let him get away, he'll run away from you. That's how you do it, Jay.
The pressure's on.
The pressure's on. Certainly to be a Hall of Famer, Marshall Holman in the near future. There's no question about it. He's been one of the most consistent performers for a number of years on the tour. And there's his career earnings, $1,328,000. And if he wins today, he'll become the PBA's all-time leading money winner.
And the other millionaire, a fellow sitting right next to me.
Well, Mark Roth is the one he's got to catch right now. He's the leading money winner.
The 10-pin is standing.
And that was one of the best shots Marshall's made so far in the match. Just an unfortunate break. He got the ball well down the lane, good rotation on the ball. Watch the entry point. This is the key to whether you're going to strike or not. See how the ball comes in wide of the pocket. If that was maybe 1/8 of an inch higher on the head pin, he would have struck. Unfortunate for Marshall. 1/8 of an inch at 60 feet isn't very much.
Holman directing traffic out there.
A few choice words for the 10-pin because he knew it was a key shot. Now he has to get this one. He's really getting late in the match. 7th frame coming up for Marshall. That 10-pin could come back to haunt him. He made a great shot. Let's see if he can maintain his concentration. Get the strike in the 7th frame.
Asking for a re-rack. That is his 2nd re-rack. 3 allowed.
He might need those later in the match as we get down into the 9th and 10th frame, the real key frames, the 9th frame. All right, 7th frame for Marshall.
He comes through.
Outstanding shot. Marshall's really pumped up today, Jay. He knows he's got a shot at that record.
More of this match between Holman and Benoit right after these messages. The bowling fans of the Genesee Valley on hand, and they're watching Bob Benoit, 34 years old, a Kansan, 8 years on tour. And as we mentioned, this by far his finest year. He has the lead over Marshall Holman in our first match. Holman, who lost the championship last year to Scott Devers in this event. And of course, Holman won the first Kodak event in '85 here. Holman went down to defeat 258 to 217 to Devers a year ago. Now Benoit in the 7th. Break.
Now that's the hit you need to carry on this type of lane condition. If you don't carry the late hits, you don't really have a chance. You've got to carry that shaker hit to really shoot any kind of a score when the lanes are dry. You're going to leave a lot of good 10 pins, a lot of good 4 pins. If you can carry that light hit, you're going to shoot some big numbers. Now this is a kind of an off hit that the players think, I've got to carry this, I've got to carry this. And that's what's going through Bob Benoit's mind right now. See the head pin go to the wall, come off, trip the 4-7, and watch his reaction. Yes, have to have that one. And you can see Marshall's not really thrilled about it. this one could almost put the match away.
Going for 4 in a row.
Got it. All right, he's put Marshall Holman in a position right now, Jay. 32 pins down. He almost has to strike out. Marshall, in order to get the match back in to a realistic point, has to hope that Bob Benoit does not get another strike and that Marshall gets all strikes from here on out.
Holman from Medford, Oregon. He's been home for a couple of months playing golf. He's been surprised. Actually, he's bowled this well this week. He's tough.
There he is. He's still there. He's still in the match. Marshall Holman with a possible 245. Bob Benoit going at a 237 pace right now. This is an outstanding game by these two players. Right out of the gate, the lane condition, as I mentioned earlier, is very difficult, Jay. They're making great shots. I think Marshall's surprised that Bob Benoit is shooting the score he's shooting.
I think you might be surprised. You look for medium scoring here, and we're getting a little better than that right now.
Much better, much better.
Holman trying to make it 3 in a row, bowling in the 9th, down 22 pins.
And there's the type of spare I was talking about earlier, Jay. The difficult shots where if you get it a little wide or a little bit short with the shot, in other words, the ball hooks too much, doesn't hook quite enough. Marshall was happy with the release. He got it a little bit wide. Remember earlier he left the 2-7. Now he leaves the 2-8-10. Same type of shot. The ball's going down the lane, comes out into that oil, doesn't quite get back to the pocket. And you see he doesn't get the pin action that Bob Benoit got when he got that wall shot earlier in the 7th frame. All right, Marshall got 9 out. He's got 180 in the 9th. Bob Benoit basically just has to finish the match. He's the winner.
He has struck in 6 of the 8 frames. Here's number 9. And the 10 pin won't go down. Benoit, though, is going to move along here.
And you can see that now remember, he's using a 15-pound ball, and the ball still will deflect. See how it bounced a little bit? And that's why he left the 10 pin. Even though it's coming in at an extremely wide angle, the lighter ball will deflect more than the 16-pound ball, and he'll leave more 10 pins. But he will not leave the solid 8, solid 9 that the players will leave with the 16-pound ball. So he feels he has more carry power and more revolutions with the 15-pound ball.
Benoit with a chance, if he can win today, to pick up the $27,000 first prize and get up near the $200,000 mark himself.
Bowler of the Year race still up for grabs, Jay. Brian Voss, of course, who will be on later in the telecast, is right now the player that is leading the Bowler of the Year race. But
there's another 10 pin, as you mentioned.
Several players still in the hunt.
Yeah. Bob Benoit, the winner of this first match, and he will move on and face Ron Palombi Jr. I mentioned first prize $27,000, and $14,000 for second, $8,000 for third, $6,005 for fourth, and $5,500 to the number 5 competitor. Well, Benoit getting over a big hump as he defeats Holman here in this first match, and we'll be back with more action from Rochester, New York in just a moment. 7, and as we like to do on the fall tour, bring you up to date on the top 24 in this tournament. Paul Wolf and Barry Granto. Get a chance to take a look at the
Willie Willis.
He came up with some dough, yeah.
Willie's been around a long time. He's still bowling great. Good to see him here. A lot of good young players coming up on the tour. Names that you're going to see a lot of in the future. George Branham, he's won several tournaments on the tour.
Parker Bone, he was penalized 60 pins for taking too many re-racks.
They have a rule, you're allowed 4 in match play. He took 1 too many, and it was a mistake. Just a lack of concentration or maybe an error somewhere along the line. Nobody knows for sure, but it cost him 60 pins and the match.
My friend from the St. Louis area, Leroy Barnhop. Big Steve Cook.
It's nice to see Steve bowling well again. He's one of the best left-handers ever to play the game, and he had a great week. He was in the top 5 until the last match last night.
And Ted Hanna's finished 6th, the man from Zanesville, Ohio. In this next match, it will be Benoit going up against Ron Palumbi Jr. And we'll be back with match 2 from here in Rochester in just a moment. And niece Amelia here to watch Ron Palumbi of Erie, Pennsylvania, move into this second match. He qualified third. 215.7 average this week and a 217.5 on the TB pair. The 26-year-old bachelor going up against Benoit. The 7-pin is there.
That's the kind of hit they all want to carry, Jay. That off hit. That's the one they have to have, as I mentioned earlier, to really get the strings going. And this is a great shot to open the match. He didn't get in trouble. He kept the ball in play. Unfortunately, he didn't strike, but it was the kind of shots you want to make. Easy spare. Get started, get your feet wet, and you're just getting out there, and you know the guy that's already bowled on the pair is ready and willing to really put it to you. Whoa, looky here.
Wow.
Now there's just a mental error there by Ron, and that could cost him a lot before the match is over. Fortunately, it's the first frame, and he's got time to make it up. Let's see how Bob Benoit handles that. Now what he's trying to do is throw the ball hard and straight, and it's exactly what he did. He threw it hard and straight. It never gripped the lane. Watch his reaction here. He can't believe it. Now again, the players tend to not practice their spares before the telecast, and the lanes can be slightly different during the telecast than they were all week long.
Benoit on lane 34 is high, but gets a break. He had 6 strikes in his first match against Holman, bowling that 232, and starts off with a lucky one here.
He did start out with a lucky one, Jay, no question about it. He set the ball short. He got it hooking early. You can see the ball really grip the lane on the end there, take off. That looks like a left-hander tripping out the 610. All right, now there is a tremendous turnaround early in the match right there. Bob Benoit gets a lucky strike. Ron Palumbi misses a very easy spare. What a difference. That could be a 21-pin different right here if Bob Benoit strikes. There'll be 2 of them. Oh, all right. They give a little and they take a little, Jay.
Yes. They'll reset that 10-pin.
The rules of the game are that if the pin is touched by any part of the machine, the brake, anything like that, the pin has to be respotted. Now watch this. Remember, you got the lucky break in the first frame and the crossover. Here comes the head pin across the lane, just enough to knock it over, but the machine touches it, so it has to be reset.
Our tournament director, of course, for so many years, the wonderful Harry Golden, and he said, "You got to put it back up." Benoit, his wife Susan, I'm sure, watching today.
Jay, I really didn't think there would be this many strikes thrown during the telecast today. I thought the matches would be decided by who kept the ball in play and made their spares. I didn't expect high scores. We've had one good score so far, the 232 by Bob Benoit in the first match. Let's see if those scores are maintained or if they go down where I think they will be, around 210.
Strike for Palumbi, who has earned nearly $40,000 on tour this year.
Ron Palumbi is one of the strongest players physically on the tour. He's 6'3", 190 pounds. It's all muscle. He can definitely overpower the lane condition when they're dry and hooking like this. So he might have the best shot of the 5 players, other than Brian Voss, who's also along that same lines as far as tremendous speed on the ball, can overpower the lane condition. Watch this long, fluid arm swing. And watch the loft over the foul line.
After the open in the first, Palumbi comes back with a couple of strikes. Fine athlete, this fella. Played center field and was a guard on the basketball team at Mercyhurst High School in Erie, Pennsylvania. Every once in a while, somebody will say to me, you know, that bowlers or golfers aren't athletes. And I tell them, well, you tee it up or come out here and bowl for this kind of money, you'll see.
That's right.
That's a little high, and he has left the 3-6-10.
Another very difficult spare. Now he's going to have to go cross lane, throw the ball very straight to pick this up. He doesn't want to hook the ball into this spare. Now what Bob is doing, he's making some adjustments on the lane. He's already moved from where he played the first game. He's not playing the same line. The ball hooked very sharply on the back. He's confused right now. He has moved deeper into the center of the lane, trying to get the ball farther down the lane and cut down on the hook. It could be a mistake that could cost him a lot of money right now. Hard and straight. And trouble. Spares are difficult.
He's
here,
open,
Jay.
yes. You mentioned how tough the spares are, and we've seen a lot of 10s and 7s here in the early going.
Now remember the big hook he throws? Watch this ball. It's sliding all the way. It's barely rotating. Right on the end, it gripped the lane. He chopped the 3-6 off the 10.
Benoit down 13 pins, along with his lone PBA national title that he won at Grand Prairie with that 300 game in the finals. He has 4 Southwest regional titles.
Same shot, same
Sure
result.
was. Yeah, he was a little confused as he looks down there.
He is. He's very confused. He's looking at the approach, trying to figure out what's wrong. Where should I be standing? Where did I make my mistake? Why am I not getting the reaction now that I got just a few minutes ago against Marshall Holman when I bowled so well? The problem he's having is the lanes will change. The heat from the television lights, the fact that the oil is moved by the bowling ball itself as it goes down the lane, changes the way the ball reacts. He has to make good adjustments. Back to back,
he is open. So Palombi and Benoit in his career now goes to $1,334,000, and he's just about $15,000 back of the all-time money leader Mark Roth. Ron Palombi Jr. on 33, looking at a 2-8 lead in the 5th frame.
That's a great spare, Jay. That's a tough shot. In the frame previous to that, in the 4th frame, he threw the ball extremely well, left the solid 8-pin, covered the spare, came back with a light hit, left it 2-8, and covered that, as you can see. Bob Benoit, after missing consecutive 3-6-10 spares, up in the 5th frame, trailing by 21 pins, chance to get back in the match. He's got to start striking. And again, it's a tough condition, hard to get back in the match when you make mistakes.
Well, a little high with that one. If Benoit can win today, it'll make him the 6th double winner so far this year. The other 5, Brian Voss, you'll be seeing, of course, in a few moments. Old friend Joe Berardi, Sam Macarone, Pete McCordick, and Mark Williams.
Now, this is an identical shot to his previous 2, but he did the same thing in the 3rd frame, the same thing in the 4th frame. He's completely confused and lost on the lane. You can see the look on his face. Concentration. He's wondering what's going on. What am I going to do? Where do I stand? Where do I throw the ball?
Well, he comes through there. And at the moment, the lead is 21 for Palombi.
I think he made the wrong move. I really do. He moved more into the center of the lane, whereas the players have had more success by swinging the ball out near the channel. I think what he has to do is get back out where he was when he played Marshall in the first match, going near the 3rd arrow out to about the 6th board, and just keep it firm. Right now he's going too soft and he's too much in the center of the lane. Let's see if he makes a good adjustment here. Now there he's out a little deeper with the ball, and that's where he has to be.
Benoit with a strike in the 6th.
Now watch this ball as opposed to the last 3, which stayed more in the middle of the lane. Watch this one get way out almost to the 5-6 board before it starts to hook back. That's where he has to get the ball, that deep into the lane, that far out near the channel, in order to keep it from going through the middle of the head pin. Watch the strength in this young man. He's going to throw it out on the lane 5 or 6 feet in the air, delay the hook.
Mentioned what a terrific athlete he is. He's being considered for Superstars competition. He'd be tough. Strike for Palombi. And he's up by 21.
Well, I wouldn't want to arm wrestle him, Jay, I'll tell you that.
He's a very pleasant young man, 5 years on tour. His home not too far from here, down in Erie, Pennsylvania. It's his 2nd appearance in the championship round this year. During the summer, he and his partner Billy Walden were seated 2nd at the Senior Touring Pro Doubles Championship over in Buffalo. They won the first match, and they ended up losing to Randy Peterson and Carmen Salvino in the title match. Oh, you can see the power of this young man with that one.
That ball's getting down there in a real hurry, Jay.
So the leader is Palombi by 31. Back with more in a moment.
Watch this shot, folks. This is what we were talking about. Watch what he leaves here. Takes the 3-pin right out of the rack, leaves the 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. Now watch what he tries to do here. What he was trying to do is throw it hard and straight there, get the ball to deflect off the head pin and take out the 6-10. The 15-pound ball will do that for you. Unfortunately, it didn't work this time, Jay.
No, and he was open in the 7th, 3 open frames, and at the moment, Ron Palombi Jr. is in great shape. He's going to win this match up 47 pins. Scrambled him.
Good break. Those are the kind of shots you carry when you don't need them. When you need them, they never fall down.
Well, remember, he was open back in the first, but he certainly gathered himself quickly.
He has. He's made one shot, actually one shot in the match through 8 frames at this point where he didn't hit the pocket, and that was in the 5th frame where he left the 2-8. Other than that, he's had every ball in the pocket. He could have had 7 strikes in 8 frames. Still, he's doing tremendously well. 57-pin lead, two frames to play.
And again, we gave you a look at his parents. What a swing here. Benoit handling Holman, and then Palombi coming in here and banging Benoit.
That's right. The lane conditions, again, they've changed a little bit. Bob Benoit never did find that change, whereas Palombi is just overpowering the lane condition. Another thing you might consider is that when you come into a match, you're in the first match on the telecast, and you're bowling Marshall Holman. You pump up for that. You know you're bowling one of the best players ever play the game. Psychologically, you're really pumped up. You won that match. Now you're bowling Palombi, who doesn't have that reputation. So you let down a little bit. And all of a sudden, Palombi comes up and bites you.
Well, you were surprised in that first match at the scoring. Now in this match, I think we've seen the problems that you were anticipating on the lanes.
Definitely. This is what I expected, Jay, and I think we'll see this throughout the remainder of the matches. The only one I can see that could shoot the big score on this type of lane condition right now is Brian Voss. He can overpower the lane condition with his tremendous game. He's got such good fundamentals, great arm swing. He's a guy that could shoot the big score.
Palombi is the winner, and he will go into our 3rd match of the afternoon against Brian Voss. And I should remind all of you at home, of course, as a very special feature of the PBA Fall Tour on NBC, we will have an uninterrupted final match, as we always do. There's our good friend Marcel Fournier and the tournament chairman, Frank Farmacola, on the right. Boy, what a job they do here. The youth bowling clinics, the 2-day Pro-Am, the bowlers of this Genesee Valley, the Rochester, New York area, they really turn out and have a good night.
They do, and as you mentioned, they've done a great job for the PBA over the years and for all the bowlers in the area. Boy, when it goes bad, Jay. Now, Bob Benoit had everything go his way the first match. This match, it's just everything he does is wrong. That last shot was a 4-9. It was a good shot, just a bad break. He's just going to finish out the match now. He's trying not to be too embarrassed here. He's a great player. There's no reason to be embarrassed. These things happen.
Well, Benoit will come up with $6,500 for his 4th place finish. He has cashed in 12 of his last 25, and it's been a fine year for him with that big 300 game down in Texas in the finals.
That's right. The only player ever to bowl a 300 game in the championship match.
While we're watching this action, we should mention that we talked with PBA Commissioner Joe Apnora last evening, and the PBA is pleased that it has finally settled that lawsuit that was brought by several touring bowlers. It's lasted about 2.5 years. The matter has been disposed of, and I think very beneficial to the PBA and to the tournament programs. Basically, the PBA Tour will continue as it has under the same format. Everybody's happy about that.
Right. I'm especially happy about that, Jay. Now, Bob Benoit, as you can see, is smiling. He's everything that could go wrong went wrong, and he was joking about it with Ron Palombi. That's why you saw the two of them sitting there smiling. Ron now to finish out the match, and what he's going to try to do is maintain his concentration. He knows he has a tough player coming up in the next match in Brian Voss. Doesn't want to let down now. This is the last thing he wants to do.
Left the 4-pin. Holman was the crowd favorite here, but a lot of folks now have picked up on this young man.
The next match is going to be a good one, Jay. I expect good scores in the next match. By that I mean 215, 220, 225, and those are good scores on this lane condition.
The two matinee idols will be getting together.
That's right.
Ron Palumbi going to take this match from Benoit and go up against Brian Voss.
Brian Voss could be player of the course. Definitely in position.
Yeah, excellent chance. How about that? What a way to finish up. A 214 for Palumbi to 146 for Benoit. And there is Brian Voss. Earlier today, Earl, you were visiting with Voss, and he's had a remarkable year. You ask him, what's the difference?
I think the reason I'm having such a good year originates from my physical game. Through the last 5 or 6 years, I've videoed myself. I've put hours and hours of work into this game, and it's really paid off. But beyond that, you develop a confidence in yourself that just, it comes from within. You got to want it from your heart, and I've got that right now.
So in match number 3, it'll be Ron Palumbi Jr. and Brian Voss. We'll be back with that right after this against Brian Voss. Voss on the left, Palumbi on the right. Palumbi defeating Benoit 214 to 146, and Palumbi to begin. He's looking for his 3rd PBA title here this afternoon. He had 6 strikes in his match when he defeated Benoit.
All right, now here is this could be the deciding match, I feel. The winner of this match could very well be the champion of the tournament. Phil Ringener has not done well on television. He seems to get everybody to shoot the big scores at him. Both of these players are capable of shooting a big score on a difficult lane condition. They have good fundamentals. They can overpower the surface, as you saw Ron Palumbi do in his previous match. He's very strong. He lofts the ball well. He can keep the ball in play. Brian Voss's fundamentals, his game, is as strong as anybody that's ever played the game.
This young man got his first tour victory in 1984, the Tucson Open. Gotta hurry.
Ooh. Never a doubt, Jay. Never a doubt.
Huh?
Never a doubt.
Oh.
Now, remember, the lane condition is dry. The ball's going to hook very sharply. Watch the ball take both pins. And that's the reason he got that back pin, is the ball was driving so hard. Now, watch the style, the classy form, the fundamental game of Brian Voss. I feel the best player on the tour right now.
He's a smoothie. Oh, it got the kick.
Got the 8-pin solid, got it off the wall. That was a 7-pin. It just jumped over to the right-hand side and kicked the 8 out. Now watch this. Watch the fundamentals, the perfect arm swing, the good knee bend, the great balance. You can't do it better than that, folks. That's how the game should be played. Now watch the ball. Enter the pin. Watch the solid 8. Here it comes off the wall. Good break. Great shot, good break.
And the reaction. Little dance step from Mr. Voss. He's pretty hot in the disco, I guess.
He really takes care of himself. He keeps himself in great shape.
Oh, and he's got a split looking him in the eye. The 6-7.
This particular split isn't as difficult. It's a tough spare for anybody, obviously. Now watch the ball cut through the middle of the head pin. But watch Brian shoot this spare now. Here's a guy that is really, really accurate. He's going to get close on this. He's going to throw the ball at the 10-pin spot, try to slide the 6 into the 7. Ooh, close.
Voss is open in the second.
Brian very unhappy with himself. He knows he made a mistake there. He was too careful with the shot, tried to fit it into the pocket, got the big split. You can't do that when the lanes are hooking. You can never let up.
Ron Palumbi won the True Value Open in Indianapolis. He'll be there in a couple of weeks. Some problems here. 2 weeks from today, the $135,000 True Value Open at the Woodland Bowl over in Indianapolis. And again, I should mention $200,000 on that day for a perfect game.
Here again, the same shot he threw on lane 33 in the first frame. Just a little extra speed, not quite getting the ball into a good roll on the back. The 2-8. The danger is that the ball hooked too much on this spare and go in front of it. Almost did. Good shot. Again, he's going to have to get something going here, Ron Palumbi is, because if he waits too long, Brian Voss is very explosive. He could string out 4 or 5 strikes in a row very quickly, as Ron Palumbi could also. But I really feel that Ron Palumbi has got his hands full right here.
12 finishes in the top 24 this year, 18 cashes in 26 tournaments. Palumbi up by 12. Oh, and he's fighting it now, Earl.
Just the same thing that happened to Bob Benoit. He beat Marshall Holman in the first match very handily, bowled a great game. Second match, he shoots 146. Here again, Palumbi beat Bob Benoit, and now he's struggling. He threw 2 balls that were light, left the 2-8 in the first frame and the second frame. Now he's trying to make the ball finish, and he goes through the middle of the hip pin. He's confused.
Converts that spare.
Now, the key for Brian Voss, Jay, right now is he has the ability to play this lane condition, obviously, or he wouldn't have made the telecast. But he, I feel, has the strength to overcome the lane condition. And the key for him is to keep his knee bend down at the foul line and really extend through the shot. That's what gets like that. That's what gets the ball down. See how he extended on that shot? He really reached out there, chased the ball with his hand. That's what delays the break. Gets the ball down the lane and holds that sharp hook down so he can keep it in play. If he continues to do that, he's got a good chance to win this game. If he gets short with it, lifts too soon, sets the ball down early, he's going to have a lot of problems.
He could be called Mr. March. Baseball has its Mr. October, but he won nearly $100,000 in March, winning at Toledo, and then 2 weeks later won in Peoria, and then he got $15,000 in that Make the Spare contest with you, and now he's got a spare that he really needs to make.
That was just a bad shot there, Brian. He can't make this one. This is a 4.67. He's going to go for 2. He's just going to try to get the 4.7. But watch this shot now. He just gets it down early, tugs it. He's trying to extend, and all he did was pull the ball, and he knew it was a bad shot when he let go.
Open again on lane 33. And Voss and Palumbi struggling in this third match here in Rochester. And Voss really having some problems. You know, Earl, if he wins, he would become the first 3-time champion since '86 when Steve Cook won 4 events and Walter Ray Williams won 3. And also there's that year-end money record on the line. Do you think that's bothering him here?
I don't know if it's really bothering him so much as it might be. He might lack a little concentration. It just isn't Brian Voss out there right now. He's not playing the game the way I've watched him all week. He's making a lot of major mistakes. He looks like he's just not concentrating well. He's not getting down and going through the shot at the line. Everything is being tugged a little bit to the left, and here's the spare shot. Now watch him. He just, as soon as he let go, he knew he made a bad shot. He's just not really thinking well. It's almost like he's saying, well, I think I'll just finish the match and get out of here. That's not Brian Voss. You know, he entered this tournament late, Jay.
Did he?
He canceled out. He had to re-enter. Didn't get here till late Tuesday night. Didn't even get to practice on the lanes. And here he is in the championship round.
Well, he led all the way until late yesterday when he slipped into second place. Holman came all the way from 41st to finish 4th. That strike in the 6th gets Voss back into a position where he maybe can make a run, but he has got his hands full. Ron Palumbi Jr. up by 33, 6th frame, bowling on lane 34. Oh, and he's got that look in his eye.
He does. He knows he's got a chance to really beat one of the best players out here, maybe the best player out here right now. You don't get this opportunity very often. You better take advantage of it. He threw a great shot in the 4th, left a solid 10 pin in the 5th, strike in the 6th. He could really put the pressure on Voss for the next one.
There's the man, Mr. Steve Bond of Kodak, who will be passing out the beautiful Steuben trophy. And who will be our winner? Take that trophy and $27,000 here this afternoon in Rochester.
That's trouble. Oh, what a break. What a break.
Palumbi says, all right, and he's got it going. We'll have more in a moment. 8 frames. He's down 23. Here's Ron Palumbi, set to go on lane 34. Give in.
He will not give in. In the 7th frame, remember, he tripped that 4-pin. What a break that was, and he makes it 3 in a row with a great shot in the 8th frame. Brian Voss, if he goes all the way, remember, he's got 3 in a row, as Jay mentioned. If he goes all the way, he can shoot 213. That's the most he can shoot. Ron Palumbi going at a 216 pace right now. One more strike would just about do it. So Brian Voss getting a little fire in his eye. He's getting pumped up. Maybe it's too late.
This has been a troublesome spot, lane 33.
Lots of speed. Great rotation. Oh. I'll tell you what. This is a tough spare. On the lane condition that's out there, the way the lanes, the ball's overreacting on the back end. Now watch the ball come in light in the pocket. The head pin comes off the wall, leaving only the 2 and the 5. But this is a tough spare. The pins are spread a little bit for him. Moved him around a little bit. It's very easy to chop the 2 off the 5. He's going to throw it hard. Watch him throw hard on this shot. A lot of speed. Great
shot. Got there in a hurry, and he did it. Palumbi has made, well, Earl, 3 really tough
He's
spares.
putting on a little clinic out there on spare shooting. There's no question about it. Those spares that he's made, the 2-8 twice, the 6-10, and obviously the 10-pin, and then this particular spare, the 2-5, the toughest of the 4. He's really had to work hard, and those 4 spares kept him in the match. They're the difference in the match, whereas Brian Voss has 3 opens. Palumbi has a clean game.
Voss needs a strike.
He threw it well, Jay.
Sure did. The 10-pin is left for him. Well,
looks like Mike Alby's money record is safe for another week, huh?
Yeah, I don't think it's safe for the year.
No, I don't think so either. This guy's just got too much talent. He's going to be there eventually. Just one more tournament, maybe.
Voss down by 32 pins, and as we watch this one come to a close, we'll remind you, of course, that next weekend there will be no bowling on NBC, but we will have, of course, one of the great events in the world of sport, the Breeders' Cup from Louisville, Kentucky.
You got a winner in that one, Jay? Did you pick a winner in that?
Oh, well, I hope to pick one. There's 7 races, so maybe I can get one. But Dick Enberg, Tom Hammond, and of course our old buddy Harvey Pack and all the gang will be there, and we look forward to being in Louisville next weekend for that $10 million day of thoroughbred racing. And coming up next, except on the West Coast, of course, Sports World, which will feature the Breeders' Cup steeplechase, $250,000 race, the richest event of its kind. Ron Palumbi Jr. going to win this match 3 and move into the finals against Phil Ringener.
Another really hard throwing right-hander in Phil Ringener. Now,
Ron Palumbi there. What a nice pickup by Voss.
Ron Palumbi is throwing the ball so well right now. He's going to be tough, really tough to beat. Now, as you watch Brian Voss put on a little clinic of his own on how to pick up the washout, watch the head pin, take out the 2, take out the 10. Now here again, Ron Palumbi trying to maintain his concentration. He's going to be bowling for the title, and that's very important to this young man. You can count on that. The beautiful Steuben Glass Trophy, $27,000, the Kodak Invitational Championship coming up.
Voss congratulating Palumbi as Ron moves into the championship match and a shot at the $27,000 against Phil Ringener. And Palumbi to finish it off. He had a 214 in his win over Benoit.
Well, he started with a 2.8 and he finishes with a 2.8.
And that's it. The final score, another 214, 5 spares, 182. And here's our championship match coming up. Columbia and Ringeter going for $27,000. And Columbia to begin.
Two really hard-throwing, strong right-handed players. Ron Palumbi, a lot of wrist turn, a lot of loft on the ball. You've watched him win 2 matches already. Phil Ringeter, a very, very powerful right-hander from Texas. It can really, really get it down there quick.
Palumbi opens on 33 with a strike.
Watch the power in this young man's game. He doesn't get a lot of revolutions on it, but he gets enough to carry the pins. Obviously, because he's leading the tournament, but watch how strong he is. Big, thick chest. He can really get the ball down the lane in a hurry, and that's what you have to do when the lanes are very dry. He overpowers the lane condition.
His high game, 279 this week. 5'11", 215 pounds out of Big Spring, Texas.
Solid 4-pin. Great start. Great start for the match. The idea in that opening shot, first shot, is just to keep it in play. Now, you don't want to beat yourself. He made a great shot, got an easy spare out of it. So you see a repeat of that shot, and see how strong he is? He just zips it down there. Even with all that ball speed, you can see how hard the lanes are hooking. The ball still hooked quite a bit for him. Hard and straight at the spare.
This is Philip's second championship round appearance this year. In Phoenix earlier this year, he finished third. 9-year veteran on tour, and his career earnings nearly $160,000 and a chance for the big prize here.
Now here's a guy that has never won a match on national television. He's bowled 5 times, averaged 220, and not won a match. Now that's snake bit.
We'll tell you why in a minute too. This is fantastic.
Oh, that's a bad break. That was a great shot. The ball just cut through the pins, leaving the 4-9, a very difficult spare. He's going to have to slide that 4-pin across to knock the 9 out. Now watch the ball, grip the lane and fight through real hard. Watch no deflection on the ball. Goes actually between the 4 and the 9 in front of it. Just takes the 5-pin straight off the 9. Tough spare. And this guy, he's pretty accurate. He's got a good chance to make this. He'll throw it real hard at the 7-pin spot, try to slide the 4 into the 9. Good effort.
Yes, he gave it a good try. The reason he's had such a tough time on television, his opponents have averaged 261 against him. That's why he's 0-5.
I'd say that's a good reason to be 0-5 when they're averaging over 260. I don't think you'll have to bowl 260 to win the championship match today, Jay, but I think Palumbi is going to bowl a good score. So Ringeter is going to have to get it going. He's made 2 good shots, just got 2 bad breaks. Let's see if Palumbi can jump on that 4-9.
And a strike for Palumbi. We talked about the $27,000 first prize. There is the beautiful Steuben Glass trophy. That also goes to the winner here, presented by Kodak. Ron Palumbi, he'd be the first to tell you that he wants to qualify for Firestone, of course, and wants to win his 3rd title. That's what he's been thinking about ever since he got number 2.
Leaving the bucket. Now, this is the lane he's had most of his problems on. And watch the ball. It gets it a little bit too wide. And remember, I mentioned earlier that just a little bit of oil out there. When you get out too far, the ball tends to skid and doesn't quite get back to the head pin. He's left the 2-8 many times, and that's for the same reason. Same ball reaction. Now he has the bucket. This is much more difficult than the 2-8, but he's really been tough on his spares. Hasn't missed one yet. Here we go.
The 2, 4, 5, 8.
Great shot. Great shot. That's that power, that strength, that he can get the ball down there like that so quickly. Now watch this style, watch the speed on this ball, and watch him cut the revolutions. See, now he normally gets about 14 or 15 revolutions. That ball is going to turn over maybe 6, 7 times. That's so it won't hook. All right, Phil Ringener made 2 really good shots, 2 bad breaks. Down by 19 pins, 3rd frame.
All right. There is Phil's wife, Jill.
Phil and Jill.
I think he really, most people tell me he'd rather be called Philip, so I guess maybe we should call him Philip.
All right, Philip it is.
Philip it is.
He's a nice guy. He's been out here for about 8 years, and he's been a very consistent player. He's never won, as we mentioned, but he's always around the match play, always hanging in there.
He's won nearly $25,000 on tour this year. They have a little daughter, Tiffany. And a strike for Ringener. And Colombi's lead is cut to 9.
That's the shot they've got to carry if they're going to string strikes. You can't be perfect every time. You've got to carry some of those off hits, and that hard rolling ball will carry that type of hit for you. Now here's Palumbi. He made 1 mistake, left the bucket, picked it up, but he's been very consistently around the pocket. Now you talk about tough spares. Let me tell you something. This is a tough spare. There are a lot of ways to miss this spare. There's only a couple of ways to make it. The best way to make it is to get the ball between the 3-pin and the 6-pin. Let the ball take out the 9-pin. As you see the delivery, you can see the look in his face. He knew he had made a mistake. Watch the ball cut through. Remember that sleeper back there? He's got the 3, 6, 9, 10. He's got to get that ball to take out that 9-pin. Here we go. Cross lane. Big hook. What a great shot. Under pressure, what a great shot.
Can't do it any better than that.
He had to make that to maintain his lead. He has a 5-pin lead after 4 frames. And he watched the ball go down the lane. See that? Look at the rotation on that as opposed to his other spare shots. To make that ball finish and not deflect, the ball has to cut through and take out the 9-pin. Great, great spare shot. He's putting on a tremendous spare exhibition today on a tough lane condition.
Well, he's been very consistent this week. After the first round, he was 2nd. After the 2nd round, 2nd. Then he dropped to 7th in the 3rd and 4th. Got back to 3rd after the 5th and 3rd after the 6th. Came up a little short.
Oh, he got a break there. He broke out the tough pin. The 5-pin was the one that would have made that spare difficult. Now he's got an easy spare, leaving only the 2 and the 4. Again, he's trying to make sure he doesn't make the big mistake. On the right-hand lane, the ball, you know, went high for him, and he left a tough spare. This time he made a little adjustment, made sure the ball didn't go high, got an easier spare. Making these spares, Jay, can do a lot for your confidence. It makes you feel comfortable knowing that you're really making good shots. You know you've got control of everything you're doing. What he's trying to do is make sure he doesn't make the big mistake and get the big split, something that could cost him the title, the championship. Phil Ringener, on the other hand, has to be aggressive at this point. He's behind in the match by 3 pins. He's on 2 strikes in a row. Chance to take the lead here in the 5th frame. And to watch the power and speed. He's playing right around the 2nd arrow, not hooking the ball near as much as Palumbi is.
Last year, he was the top seed at the Austin Open.
Lots of speed. Great shot.
Okay, he loved that one.
Took the lead. He's got a 7-pin lead and a chance to add to it. 17-pin lead if he gets the next strike. Now the pressure goes the other way. Ron Palumbi has to make the move back. Let's see if Ringener can keep it going. He's really pumped up. Remember that 261 average? I don't think that's going to happen today, Jay. Nobody's going to shoot 260 at him today. So it's all up to Phil.
No matter what happens here, this will be his largest check ever on the PBA Tour.
A little bit wide. That's why he left the 10-pin. Now, this ball, as opposed to the other 3 strikes, he got it out a little bit on the lane to the right. And you might say he trusted it a little bit too much, and it came in behind the head pin. Remember, the 2nd arrow was his target. See how far out that ball gets? Clear out to around the 6th board, comes in behind the head pin. The 6-pin lays in the channel, leaves the 10-pin. For Phil, with his power and speed, a fairly easy spare. He'll throw it hard and straight, cross lane.
Ringener with a 6-pin lead. Palumbi's folks there, Ron Sr. and Linda Palumbi and the niece Amelia, who we saw earlier.
They look a little nervous, Jay.
Well, I can't blame them.
That's right. Look out. All right. Now, here's a guy that got lost at the beginning of his match against Brian Voss. If you remember, the first 3 or 4 frames, he had trouble getting the ball in play. Again, he's getting into that same situation after starting this match with a double. 2 really good shots. He left the bucket, and now he's gone high on 2 out of the next 3 shots. He's in trouble.
Very discouraged after that last ball.
How quickly they change out there, the lane conditions, and how quickly you can lose your composure when the ball doesn't react the way you want it to. And when you lose your composure, you lose your confidence. If you lose your confidence in this game, you're in a lot of trouble.
Ron is down by 8. He got by Benoit with a score of 214. Got by Voss 214 to 182. NBC Sports bringing you exclusive, uninterrupted coverage of this final match of the Kodak Invitational from here in Rochester.
Really got that one wide. Oh, he was fortunate to only have that easy 2-pin spare right there. He left the 2-pin only. That ball could have left anything down there. He could have had a washout quite easily. Everything bad could have happened, and something good happened. He got a 1-pin spare, very easy spare for him. Again, he'll throw it hard and straight. Phil Ringener is sitting there thinking, it's all in my hands. All I have to do to win this championship is throw a few strikes. He knows that Palumbi's lost right now.
Palumbi has been here before. He has a couple of titles. For Ringener, this would be something special to win this first event on the fall tour.
No question. There you see he's 0-5 on television in the championship round, averaging almost 220, hasn't won a game.
Well, again, I'll say I think I'd be 0-5 too if fellows were averaging 261 against me, as has happened to him over the years. He's trying to get it done today, and now
watch this. Watch this. That is a break right there. Remember the tough spare that Palumbi had, this 3-6, 9-10?
Yep.
He got the pin out that makes the spare 10 times as tough. He has only the 3-6-10. Again, remember, everybody that has shot at the 3-6-10 except for Palumbi has missed it. Marshall Holman missed it. Brian Voss missed it. Bob Benoit missed it twice. Here we go. 3-6-10, hard and straight, cross lane. Great shot.
Well, this fella is showing a lot of composure as he tries for his first PBA title.
All right, we're getting down to where it's really getting binding now. We have 3 frames to play. Phil Ringener will bowl in the 8th frame here with a 6-pin lead. A strike here will set him up for the 9th and 10th. Both players still have a chance, obviously, to win the match, win the championship. Good shot, good shot. Oh, what a break.
Him up, didn't he?
How about that?
His wife
what
loved it on the left there.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, Jill's very happy. But Palumbi's aren't, and Jill is, as you can see. They're sitting right next to each other there. Watch, you want to see a break at a key time in a match, right here, 8th frame championship match. Watch the hit pin go to the wall, comes off the wall, kicks out the 2-pin, and the reaction of Phil Ringener. Watch this. He doesn't like it, and he says, oh, yes. All right, Ron Palumbi, pressure's on, 6 pins behind.
Wow, that looked like a perfect hit, but the 10 is standing.
10 is standing. If he keeps him in that area, he'll be all right. Remember, he's been lost. He had no idea where the ball was going. This was a great shot under the circumstances. As you see the ball entering the pocket area, a little deflection there. The ball didn't hit quite as hard as he would have wanted it to. 6-pin late in the channel, 10-pin cross lane.
Palumbi's down 7 pins.
On this type of lane condition, a difficult lane condition. The lanes are very dry and hooking. Anything can happen. So the match is far from over. 7-pin lead for Phil Ringener at this point. 2 frames to play.
Ringener coming back very well after being open in the second.
One shot can completely turn the match around. 9th frame.
Strike for Palumbi. $200,000 for a perfect game. 2 weeks from today, when we'll be at the Woodland Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana, for the $135,000 True Value Open. We look forward to seeing all of the folks over in Indianapolis. And remember, that will start at 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
To maybe win the tournament. This shot. That would have been a winner, Jay. Very good chance to be a winner right there. It's tough for Palumbi to get 3 in the 10th.
Well, we've seen Ringener and Palumbi both leave that 10-pin over here.
Right. It's a lot of 10 pins this week. In order to get the ball in the pocket, you've got to get it well down the lane, and it comes in behind the head pin.
The Body English didn't get the job done that time.
Got to have the spare. Look out. All right.
We had 4 300 games here this week. Mark McDowell, Paul Wolf, Dave Gindian, and Tom Freitz.
Jay, here's the situation right now. We're going into the 10th frame. Ron Palumbi is on a strike in the 9th. He can strike out for 216. In other words, Phil Ringener, no matter what he does in the 10th frame, cannot close Ron Palumbi out of the championship. Phil Ringener can only shoot 213 if he gets all 3 strikes in the 10th. Remember, Palumbi could go to 216. Took a re-rack. Settle the nerves. Here we go. Maybe Jay, even more importantly than getting the 3 strikes in the 10th is the fact that he's got a real good opportunity to get a spare here. With the spare and any kind of a pin count, he'll be around 200, 202 the maximum. Palumbi will then need the first strike in the 10th frame to win the match. Not easy to get.
When he won in Tucson, he struck out in the 10th back in '84, I'm reminded.
That's right, and there's no question he's good under pressure. But again, a difficult lane condition. Tough to carry the 10-pin, tough to even hit the pocket. Needs 1 strike for the championship. Oh, he slipped a little there. No problem. All he has to do is keep this ball in the lane to make Palumbi get a double. Watch when the ball goes down. He's starting to lose it off his hand, and he loses his footing. Then he says, well, I better start over.
He was able to stop when he made that little slip, gather himself, showed a lot of composure, and now Palumbi.
Now we'll see if Palumbi can get the strike he needs to win the Kodak Invitational. $27,000 on this ball. See if Phil Ringener's luck has changed.
Ringener with a score of 202. Here's Palumbi. Folks love it. All right, says Dad. He needs 7, Earl.
It's not over yet now. He has to have at least 7 pins on this ball and a spare. All right, 7 pins or more on this ball.
from Erie, Pennsylvania, takes down the championship in the Kodak Invitational. We'll be back with more from Rochester in just a moment. Thanks to Marcel Fournier, and congratulations, big guy.
Thanks a lot, Jay. It's a tough going all day. The lanes are really tough, and Phil was bowling great, and I lost the whole match, and somehow it came through.
The third title for Ron Palumbi Jr. The Kodak Invitational has been sponsored by Kodacolor Gold Film. Show your true colors. By Zest Deodorant Bar. You're not fully clean unless you're zestfully clean. By the Husted as one of